What we're bringing today is a mixture of performance and luxury. BMW of Wesley Chapel has given us the 2023 BMW m340i in your black sapphire metallic. There is a lot of new updates on the exterior and on the interior, which we're going to go over. This is one of those sweet spot vehicles, similar to an Audi S5 Sportback or Coupe, a Mercedes AMG C43 or a Genesis G70 3.3 Turbo, because you get so much bang for your buck and you're not getting a full-blown M. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new BMW m340i has a new sculpting for the front. Redesigned slimmer LED headlamps, and also your kidney grille that's active has been more squared off. It's a little bit less rounded. The same thing with the lower bumper reworked. It's going to be more square and boxy, similar to the m240i. The main difference really here is the center. You'll see the similar L shapes on the sides, and your headlamp assembly will be different. BMW Motorsport badge honoring 50 years. Ground clearance will be a little bit lower than most of the rivals, but it's better than Mercedes and Audi at 5.4 inches. A weight distribution at 52.3, 47.7, which is not going to be the best in class. Unfortunately, that goes to the Genesis G70 3.3 Turbo. Upgraded 19-inch M5 double spoke wheels behind it. You got a 13.7-inch disc reading. These are M composite brakes, 4 pistons up front, 13.6 inches is the rear, so it does still match similar to the m240i, just where that's a 2-door, this is a 4-door, you could tell from the back part. But when you're going into the rear with the lip spoiler, the LED tail lamps down on the bottom, the same style more or less as the m240i, dual exhaust outlets that are blacked out. You got your side gills and you have your aggressive diffuser here, also mimicking the i4, so they have a lot of characteristics that make it very similar to all of the models. One of the longest in the rivals at 185.9, a wheelbase at 112.7 inches. The difference between all of those vehicles is when you get into the m340i opposed from the 330, you're going to spend around $12,000 more, but you're not going to spend $16,000 more to get the M. You're going to get most of the M specs, even though it's not full-blown performance M. Shadowline trim adds that gloss black that's going to be on the side view mirrors, around all of your window treatment. M Sport Tune suspension, double pivot type with anti-roll bars, and a stiffer spring strut up front. 5 links with a cast aluminum upper transversal arm for the rear. M differential. I like the sleek style of this one better, unless I'm optioning Audi S5 Sportback, because then you got a hatchback. It's a little bit more practical, more cargo space. However, if you want that, go to the 440i Grand Coupe, and you got the same structure with the hatchback. LED tail lamps, super aggressive on the lower. Just the only thing is they're paying too close of attention to the m240i. And I say that with respects because when you get into the 340i, I want it to look dramatically different and have that increase of performance style, because I'm getting just a hair under the M. They do that with the performance numbers. Going inside to your cargo, quick release, 17 cubic feet of storage. You have some storage here on the side and on this side. Split fold the rear bench in the back at a 60-40 split, increasing the cargo, but this is an m340i. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. The BMW M340i slots right underneath the Madhouse M, which gives you that perfect blend. You don't have to break the bank account, and it backs the performance with a 3.0 liter BMW M twin power turbo inline 6-cylinder with a 48 volt hybrid technology, producing 382 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 23 to 31 mpgs. That's good for a 0 to 60 around 4.4 seconds, which is the fastest of all of the rivals that we're talking about today, with a quarter mile at 13.9 seconds, which is about 0.5 tenths of a second slower than the G70 3.3 turbo. What you're getting here, comparing it to the German rivals, it outdoes it. Also, with horsepower, it's going to have more than the Audi. It's going to be the same with the torque. It's going to have more torque than the Genesis. It's going to be the least comparing it to the Mercedes. That was a full refresh, so they've given it a little bit more horsepower and torque. However, you still beat it with the 0 to 60 at top speed at 155 miles per hour. What else do you need when you're looking for a performance variant and you don't want a full M? This is basically what you're looking for. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 BMW M340i. As we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the BMW M340i. Headroom is going to be at 38.7 inches, legroom at 42 inches. The focal point starts with the 3-spoke M leather wrap heated multi-function steering wheel. We get the paddle shifters, and we get the new gauge and digital cluster. It's a one-panel single glass that comes out of the iX. It's on pretty much all of them now. A 12.3 digital gauge cluster is going to be right here that you can go through an array of information. You can change it from your Sport, your Comfort, and your Eco Pro. You can also still do the BC, which will change everything here. Heads-up display, which also changes with the different modes. I like it the best in Sport and Eco. Going to your 14.9-inch touch with navigation, we have the pinch, the swipe. I do like how it covers up the whole screen. When you click it to the home, you have your quick wedges, which you can tailor and add for yourself to make it easier for your driving experience. Click on those 4 dots there so you can see we have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. If you click it to your driver's settings, here's a cool little thing. Click onto that iconic sound, and now it's not going to be as athletic in the sound when you're pushing the gas. Click that back, and now you have more of a sport drive. So you can tailor that will go for your speakers in the interior. Wi-Fi hotspot, BMW Assist, interior lighting. This is for your ambient lighting, which will tailor everything here. It's a little hard to see because we're in the sun, but it's right underneath. Also on the door panels right there. So it's just enough because you don't want to really go over the top. Push it to reverse. We have a reverse camera with front and rear parking sensors, full trajectory. It is easy to reverse, even though it's not the whole screen. Half of it's blocked and a bit over here. Underneath, you'll notice reworked air vents. You'll still get the satin aluminum, the wood look, and everything is very minimalistic. So it's not a lot of buttons anymore. Everything you have to pretty much go through the infotainment. It is easy in the sense that your climate control is right there in the middle. Unfortunately, you have to do everything through there. Open up inside here, and you're going to have 2 cup holders, a USB, and a 12 volt and a storage area. Your iDrive 8 and your new gear lever, so no more actual gear lever. It's more or less like a little stock. You get the wood around it. It's going to be sporty. Open up inside. It's going to be long and wide, just not so deep, with another USB port. The door panels do integrate into the dash, and you're going to have your everyday materials that's going to be on the top. Soft materials are going to be integrated here with your memory seats, one touch up and down. Going to be more sporty. The ambient lighting with your speaker grill. Storage pocket is going to be pretty wide right here, but then it narrows off. Sakura red, perforated, heated, ventilated, 12-way power adjustment, and you get your manual cushion extensions. It does keep the sporty, athletic style that matches the rest of the body. For the back seats, we're right at 38.7 inches of headroom. The legs are at 35.2 inches of legroom. This is going to be more sporty derived because of the style that we're in. However, for a 6'3", I can fit, as you can see. Just if I move too much to the left or to my right, I'm going to hit the headliner. Elbows are going to be sporty. Your third climate control, 2 USB ports, air vents, and you got some harder materials with the storage behind both of the front seats. Going into the door panel, harder materials. Your soft materials are here, going to be a little bit more sporty, one touch up and down for your windows. The grille pattern for the speakers in the large pocket that's right here, but then it tapers off into the back. It's cup holders, maybe a 20-ounce max, and the way you have to be a little awkward, you sit a little bit more inward. Sitting into the center, headroom is still not an issue, but legroom is, because I'm sharing a tremendous amount of feet and butt space and shoulder space because of the width of the vehicle. Also, when you're sitting on the side right here, you're going to be sitting right on the center seat belt. Taking the 2023 BMW M340 out for our test run. 3.0 liter twin powered turbo BMW with 382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, 4.40 to 60, right around 13.9 quarter mile. Top speed 155. You sit pretty sleek. The door panels are raised up. Ground clearance around 5.4 inches. So you're going to lose a little bit there, but the performance is really what you're looking at because it is a blend of the best of both worlds. That's what I like about this tier when you get into BMW. Show you sport dynamic and what that means all in reality. And your brakes. Fun vehicle. It livens up like crazy, and I mean there's a like and dislike to it. You can inflate that exhaust note inside to make it even more throaty, but even on the exterior it sounds pretty good, as you saw with the review spec and dynamics. I mean, it's very precise. It goes exactly where it needs to be, very close to 50-50 weight distribution. Unfortunately, the Genesis G or the G70 is just a touch better. Not much, but it also goes to your weight for the curb too. So this one weighs just a touch more, but the 0 to 60 speeds beats every single body. If you want to play on some twisty roads, you can do so. If you want to turn that exhaust note off, it's pretty simple. You just obviously first put it into Eco Sport, click back here, and look at this. I'm doing it while I'm driving. Driver settings, click the iconic sound off, can't hear nothing. Now for the road noise. I like the wraparound, holds itself tight. You do have some noise filtering in, but everything's pretty much M spec on the exterior, even though this is not a full-blown M. So that's the value that you're getting when you get an M340i. Comparing it against the S5, whether the coupe or the Sportback, excellent vehicle, but this is going to have more horsepower. It's also going to be faster in the numbers. Comparing it against Mercedes-Benz, even though it has more horsepower and torque than all of the rivals compared, it's still slower than this. So yet again, you're just kind of throwing out power without giving anything back in response. Comparing it to Genesis G70, 3.3 turbo, this is faster, this has more torque. I'm gonna try to set it as straight as possible. Sport Dynamic Plus. It's a little race car. And you know, at the beginning, the screen situation, I was kind of like, I don't know if it's gonna fit when I was looking on the exterior of it. And I said, I gotta wait until I actually get my hands on it. But the screens actually fit fine, even though this is a 14.9 inch screen. The 12.3 obviously fits fine because this is something normal for BMW. The heads-up display, it's an awesome setup with polarized glasses. You can't see it at all. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this M340i. The 3 things that I like about it is where it slots in for performance and for bang for your buck. You don't want to break your bank account. You're looking to spend 50, 60 grand. You get all that performance wrapped around, and yet it's a fun all the time drive. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is the way they have redesigned the dashboard for it, even though it's very similar to all of the BMWs with this iX screen. And I call it the iX screen because it was derived out of the first electric SAV that they had. This is a screen that they implemented. On the disadvantaged side, they're going to start charging for apps, which unfortunately everyone's going to do this. Turn radius is about 2 lanes. This is an Eco Pro or Comfort. So you still get a nice throaty note out of it without the iconic sound. The last thing that I like, beyond the fun factor and the restyling of the interior, the exterior, they also highlighted some new attributes, which I know I threw in some disadvantages to it. However, it is still very sporty and athletic comparing it to the last year's model. So it was just enough of a change to give you that more performance drive. 3 things that I dislike starts off on the back seats. When you're sitting behind the driver, that seat belt for the center is right on your back. The second thing that I dislike goes again to the back in the door panel where you go to open the door. It's the same as the front, and because we don't have unlock and lock, you just get something that's left there. And they paid so close attention to detail in the front. It's not that they forgot it, but it's something that they can fix or entertain for the next year model. The last thing that I dislike, wait. So playful. It's really hard to drive this car in a regular drive because you know how much power is underneath that. When I am into the Audi for the S5, whether it's the Sportback or the Coupe, I could drive that regularly. I don't have to hit the throttle all the time. But this one, because it has a little bit more power and it's a little bit faster, just makes me want to give it a little bit more. When I get into the RS5, it's a night and day difference. It's hard to put that in a comfort mode because I know how much performance is underneath it. When I'm in the Genesis G70, I can do either or. So this one is a little bit more playful. The last thing that I dislike is because I'm tall. It may not affect you if you're shorter, and it also depends on your dimensions. But for me, the width, I really am against the door panel here. And for a long drive, I'm going to be constantly like stretching awkwardly because I'm right on the door. The way you sit here, it's very close. So it pushes me more towards the 4 Series because you have a little bit more width. If you're shorter, you shouldn't have too much of an issue, meaning under 6 foot tall. I also have found it a little weird because there's no gear lever here in the center. You just have this little up and down switch to put it in gear. And I'm used to having my hand on the gear lever when I'm driving a M340i. So it's a little different because now when I put my hand down, it's very similar to more of a luxury vehicle. And I get it because this is coming out of the i4. Just, I kind of wish they would have left that because it's a little bit more playful, and that's what you're getting when you buy this, a lot of play. As for the visibility in the front, you feel very sleek, and it does have a dramatic appearance because the way the A-pillars are pushed, it really has that sports athletic style. I will also note that if you are looking at the S5, the way they put their A-pillars, it's more like right here, so it's a bit of an eyesore. These are pushed back so the windscreen is actually in front of you, so that way it's a little bit easier to take some corners or for your maneuverability. As for blind spots, you're gonna have some in the back, but you got blind spot monitoring. I mean, just put it into Sport Plus and look at this thing. Just, you no longer have blind spot. I only downshifted 1 gear. As for the ride, it's sporty, but it actually is very smooth too. So you don't have that bumpy feel that you would have if you're going into like the RS5 Sportback competition. The seat comfort, it is nice. I like the cushion extensions. I wish it was power adjustment because we're a little bit above 60,000, but for everyday drive, I mean, look at this thing. It will murder the road. And for a vehicle that's in the 60,000 price point, it's hard to get all that fun, luxury, and still have a little bit of practicality involved. I'd like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2023 BMW M340i for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, what are you waiting for? Click the next video, the subscribe button, check out the merchandise, details, website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.